Okay, and welcome back, everybody. This is episode 3, I think, of the El Camino. This is the 78 El Camino, and we are combining it with the 9501. It's the classic LS swap, as you can see there. Being episode 3, if you didn't see episodes 1 and 2, go back and watch them, and you'll see what on earth I'm thinking. Let's start off with this elephant in the room. Something that's not on the box on this kit that you may be curious to know is that among the parts there is a roll bar, and there are lights for it as well. But the El Camino, being such a wide, low car, I don't think you're going to flip it. And so the idea of having one of those on there is a little bit ridiculous. And it does look ridiculous. So I just wanted to mention that it's in there. That's what it looks like. And we won't be using it because it looks much better like that. I'm not going to put the cover on. I'm not going to put the topper on. We're going to leave it just like that with the tailgate on there. Okay, getting started on this episode. We are still working on these exhaust manifolds. And I think this is about the 4th or 5th application of putty. If you recall, I'll put up a quick reference to the way they used to look like. Of course, you know we're inverting the exhaust, so the bottom side is going to be on the top and be coming out the hood. And so they didn't fill the form. The bottoms of the headers, these exhaust manifolds, were hollow. So I had to fill and sculpt. And we're just about there. I think at this point I'm going to put some primer on and try to continue on from there. But getting there. Talking about the headers, these strange bulges here, these big, look like mufflers almost. I didn't know what they are, so I went and looked them up on the internet there, and you can see them there. Somebody has taken all that, and you can see it's all metal, and that's what I needed to know. And you scroll down, or if you scroll up, you can see right there, aftermarket also has the bulges, and this is what I needed to see. Could you get away with chroming the whole thing? And yes, you can chrome the whole thing because it's all metal, and so that's what we'll be doing. And then somewhere else there was another, yeah, there's a closer picture of the stock setup. So we will also be painting those chrome. And of course the body's going to be chrome. Now let's move on to the interior. Yeah, my phone is loud. Okay, so we're going to be what they call murdering out the interior. That means make everything black, and there's just going to be little subtle highlights, like I might chrome the steering wheel. But probably nothing on the dash. It's all going to be black on black. This kit has 2 seat options, but now here's the gripe. Look at that. That's all you get. See how the back half of the seat is missing? That's all you get. There are no backs. And even these seats don't have backs. And my only gripe there is that, see, they stick up. And there is a rear window. So you're going to see it. Well, I can't use these seats because there's just so much missing. When you put them in there, you can actually see that it's only the front half of a seat. So we'll be putting in these seats. And I'll just continue. See, that's all painted. I don't know, maybe I'll go with a kind of a matte black rather than a flat black. Just to be a little different for there. And that's the rundown on how this episode's going to go. So we'll get these in primer, we'll get all that in black, and go from there. Okay, and so here's where we're at now. I'm going to try to look inside here. Oh, I had a feeling that was going to happen. You can't see anything at all. But honestly, that's kind of what I was hoping for, is to get this shot. As you can see, I just did the rim on just the outside of the steering wheel. So when you got a what you call murdered out interior, you want it dark except for the highlights. And so look at that. Basically, all you can see is the steering wheel. And I like that effect. That's exactly what I was going for. Otherwise, the seat backs, if you remember my gripe there, well, there they are. Fortunately, they are black, so you can't see it very well, but we have wide open seat backs there. Nice. Otherwise, I glued the tailgate. The tailgate is kind of a funny thing on this one. And I started entertaining the idea of it opening, but nope, it's glued on. So this will all be one piece, and then there's a license plate insert that goes in there, which I've misplaced. Oh, here it is. And curiously, it's chrome. Other than that, moving on to the headers here. Got them in primer, and not bad considering, if you look, that is the underside, and if you consider there was nothing there, that's not bad. And moving on, I want to show you something on the engine, so let me move to the next scene. I'm going to pull it out. Okay, so now we are zoomed in pretty much as far as I can go, because I wanted to show you what the mistake I made. Of course, hindsight is 20/20. What you're looking at there is the back of the engine, and that is, I don't know much about the Corvette, but that appears to be kind of the network, distributor network, and it is under the intake manifold to the point where you can't get your plug wires on there. So that's one of the things you... Oh, hindsight. Anyway, so I've got the plug wires. I'm getting started on them. Obviously, you're going to have a 90-degree down and into the hole there. But I'm also going to have to make a little special tool that kind of a pick or something that I can... And this is tiny, of course. You got to realize it. Come up with something, bend the end of a pin, maybe, because I've got to hollow those out a little bit because the wire's not going down in there nice. So I just wanted to explain that. If I get this wired, I don't want anybody to think that it was easy. So anyway, moving on. Okay, I'm moving right along. You see I've got the front of the engine on. There's about 4 different parts there. If I can get in closer. Yeah, I can. And so that's looking good. And I'm sure you can see that I've pulled the intake manifold off. Remember I was saying it was going to be a challenge to get to these holes? It turned out to be impossible to get to those holes, so I had to stick the screwdriver in there and pop it off. It's over here somewhere. Right there. And now I have access to the holes. I've drilled everything out fresh to the point where I'm going to be able to run these plug wires. So yeah, it turned out to be impossible. Now I can run the plug wires and glue it back on, and then we'll see what that looks like, and that'll be in the next scene. Okay, and so I have glued them all in there. Basically just bent them on the end and super glued them into those holes. And now I've got them all strung out here, ready to cut them to length, curve them around, and get them into these holes. And we'll see how good that works. That's what we're doing next, so let's see. Okay, so there we go. That's about as good as I can do. But it's got it done. As I've said before, I'm not fantastic with plug wires. But I needed to put something in there, and I got something in there. So let me put the manifold back on there and set it in the engine bay and see if it clears. See how that looks. Okay, and there it is. Oh, Chromino's got its LS swap in there. It's not glued in there, but it did match up with the transmission and the drive shaft. Sort of see that. And the plug wire is cleared. It's probably a little too far forward, but that's where we're going to leave it. And I like it. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode. Next episode, we'll be putting the exhaust on there. Now that we know that we can put the engine in there, the engine is done, other than the exhaust. And we'll line all that up and cut the holes in the hood and paint this whole thing. So that'll be in the next episode. And I appreciate you all watching. And take care.